Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share, and subscribe. Enjoy today's episode.
Golden Behemoth is a tribe of beast men, and it is only natural for them to pledge allegiance to the Beast Emperor, just like how the elves would attach themselves to the Elf Queen. Every race has its own ruler, and the people of this race will instinctively attach themselves to the ruler, including humans. This is a sense of unity. However, after hearing the words of Golden Behemoth number 7, the Golden Behemoth Overlord was delighted and immediately caught up with the Golden Behemoth Legion, saying, "Your Beast Emperor is dead. The one who killed him is Lin Yu from the Paradise Kingdom. Follow me. No, let's cooperate together. I will avenge your Beast Emperor in the future." As soon as the words fell, the footsteps of the Golden Behemoth Legion immediately stopped. This made the Golden Behemoth Overlord very happy, thinking that there was a silver lining. However, what confused the young man was that Golden Behemoth number 7 stared at him fiercely and said, "You need to show respect to His Majesty Lin Yu. He is a great ruler and conqueror. Although the Beast Emperor is dead, the Beastmen have ushered in a more glorious future. As the god of faith of the angel race, His Majesty Lin Yu will surely lead our Beastmen to greatness." The Golden Behemoth Overlord was dumbfounded. What the hell is going on? With a blank expression, he said, "Don't tell me that the person you want to pledge allegiance to is Lin Yu, the one who destroyed the Beastmen's royal court." Golden Behemoth number 7 said, "The Beastmen's royal court is the native Beastmen force of this world. What does it have to do with us?" The Golden Behemoth Overlord said, "Then you shouldn't pledge allegiance to Lin Yu either." In the young man's view, this is a completely unrelated matter. Even if these golden behemoths want to pledge allegiance to the remaining native beastmen forces on Runkle Prairie, he can understand. What the hell is pledging allegiance to Lin Yu? He couldn't understand. Golden Behemoth number 7 glanced at him and said, "The army of the Paradise Kingdom is about to conquer the entire Runkle Prairie, and the beastmen will also have a new ruler. No matter whether the native beastmen like it or not, they will choose to bow their heads to the powerful Paradise Kingdom. This is an unchangeable fact. In addition, after the fall of the Beast Emperor Webster, His Majesty Lin Yu received his crown and was bestowed with the identity of the new generation Beast Emperor. Now, His Majesty Lin Yu is the true ruler of the Beastmen. Now, we have been reborn and become free beings, so of course we should pledge allegiance to His Majesty Lin Yu, because following the war horn of the Paradise Kingdom has a brighter future. The title of the god of faith of the angel race alone is enough to attract them to join. This is the transcendent world where the strong are respected." Putting aside other factors, the Golden Behemoth Overlord, who is only at the 9th level late stage, is not worthy of their loyalty. After all, they are apex level creatures, golden behemoths. Only true strong can rule over them. Without hesitation, Golden Behemoth number 7 directly led the Legion to leave quickly. The thousands of golden behemoths, like a golden wave, quickly disappeared at the end of the distant grassland, leaving behind the Golden Behemoth Overlord alone, standing still with a blank expression, unable to come back to his senses for a long time. Until a long time had passed, the Golden Behemoth Overlord suddenly seemed to awaken, his expression contorted as he cursed loudly. "Lin Yu, Golden Behemoth number 7, and the world rules of the floating island." He cursed them all. He was furious. He also found it difficult to accept this outcome. When he first arrived on this floating island, he was the first to reveal his identity as an apex-level overlord, receiving countless voices of admiration and envy. The alliance he established, the Hall of Kings, quickly became the strongest professional alliance on the island. At that time, his reputation was unmatched. In simpler terms, during that period of time, he was the most powerful person on the island. Until Lin Yu appeared. Of course, all of that was in the past. What he found hard to accept was that the Golden Behemoth Legion, which he had painstakingly nurtured, not only betrayed him, but also planned to join the Paradise Kingdom. He had worked so hard for so long. In the end, he became a stepping stone for Lin Yu. And they even said that joining Lin Yu had a brighter future. How could he accept that? The mindset of the Golden Behemoth Overlord completely collapsed as he howled, venting his hatred and grievances. One day, I will reclaim everything I have lost." One day, the golden behemoth overlord was like a madman. He kept muttering the same words. His figure staggered and went far away. It was clear that he hadn't completely lost his mind, knowing that escaping was the most important thing now. And he believed that as long as he could escape Runkle Prairie, he would be completely free. In this world, no one knew his name. No one had seen his appearance. Even if he encountered other professionals, no one would associate him with the golden behemoth overlord. After all, now he didn't even have the golden behemoth. I understand. This is what they call breaking before standing. No break, no stand. The young man comforted himself, his figure gradually fading until he disappeared at the end of the grassland. What he should worry about now was not whether he would be pursued by the angel army, but how to survive on the prairie without territory and a legion of troops. He didn't even have a combat professional by his side. As for the members of the Hall of Kings Alliance, they were even more unreliable. First, he didn't know where their offline location was. Second, if they knew he was the golden behemoth overlord, those alliance members might just tie him up and hand him over to Sacred City for a reward. So, he could only rely on himself. Thinking back to the past, the war progress of Paradise Kingdom is going very smoothly. After Lin Yu's orders were issued, the kingdom's plan to eradicate Dark Forest was also declared finished. The remaining wild monsters are left for the kingdom's professionals to deal with. As for the kingdom's troops inside Dark Forest, the Apex-level troops have already been dispatched to the floating islands in the other world, such as the Nature Elf Army, Naga Army, and Mountain Giant Army. The relatively weaker kingdom troops have been sent to Runkle Prairie. There are simply too many wild monsters on the prairie. More effort is needed to achieve faster conquest and eradication. The kingdom troops sent by Lin Yu are also of a considerable scale, numbering over 10 million. They mainly consist of the Forest Troll Army, Goblin Army, Dwarf Army, and Goblin Army, in addition to the existing Angel Army and Beastmen Follower Army. The total scale of the army clearing Runkle Prairie has reached 20 million. This is a very terrifying number. From this, we can also see how strong Paradise Kingdom is now. Lin Yu plans to wait until tomorrow to transfer the Angel Army on the prairie and the Apex-level troops of the Beastmen to the fertile land to participate in the war of the local human kingdom. Anyway, with teleportation arrays in the City of Angels, mobilizing troops is a very easy task. Once Bountiful Great Lands is taken care of, only the Sacred Land of Elves and the 36 Bay Islands will remain. Once these two regions are conquered, Lin Yu will be able to directly ascend to the position of Island Lord of this floating island and open the space-time channel to the Myriad Worlds battlefield. Becoming an eternal god is also within reach. Taking advantage of his free time, Lin Yu rarely opened the island chat channel. During this time, he was comprehending the laws during the day. At night, he exchanged the mysteries of the laws with Secretarian. He rarely checked the chat channel. As soon as he opened it, he saw countless messages flooding the screen, very lively. The topics discussed by the professionals were mostly related to the fall of the Beastmen Imperial Capital and the Angel Army of Paradise Kingdom conducting a comprehensive eradication of Runkle Prairie. Among them were countless comments like, "Lin Yu is invincible, awesome." After scrolling for a while, Lin Yu also felt that it was not interesting. Just as he was about to log off, he suddenly saw an Overlord professional expressing in the chat channel that the number of wild monsters in Dark Forest had significantly decreased, which severely affected his leveling speed. This Overlord professional also called on the professionals in Dark Forest to request, "Your Majesty Lin Yu, to open 4 affiliated cities and a teleportation channel to Runkle Prairie. This way, they can go hunting in Runkle Prairie." As the ruler of Paradise Kingdom, Lin Yu did not directly ignore the petition of his kingdom subjects. Instead, he opened the Friends list and asked Xia Qingyue for some relevant information. Lin Yu doesn't have many friends. There are only 3. One of them is the middle-aged man who initially traded the blacksmith workshop blueprint with Lin Yu. One is his #1 follower, Guangming Village Chief. The third one is Xia Qingyue. They joined forces when Lin Yu entered Xia Qingyue's territory. After receiving Lin Yu's message, Xia Qingyue replied almost instantly, "Your Majesty, that is indeed the case." Speaking for myself, the monsters I hunt in the wilderness with my dragon legion are all low level, so the experience gain is very slow. In addition, my level has been stuck at late stage of level 9, mainly because all the king level monsters in the dark forest have been killed. For professionals to advance to king level, it requires not only the accumulation of their own primal energy, but also the requirement of killing king level enemies. Overlord professionals need to kill 10 king level enemies to break through their level. Battle professionals need to kill 3 king level enemies. Now, the high level monsters in the dark forest have been almost completely wiped out, so top professionals like Xia Qingwen naturally find it difficult to advance. In summary, the ones affected are those top professionals. Professionals with relatively lower levels are not affected much. Including Xia Qingyue, top professionals in the dark forest hope that Lin Yu can open a teleportation array to Runkle Prairie. After all, the monsters there have not been devastated by the angel army. There, they can find hope to advance to king level. I understand. Lin Yu replied briefly to Xia Qingyue. Then he closed the friends list and opened the kingdom's chat channel. Sure enough, he saw similar petition messages being posted in the kingdom channel, all from top professionals in the dark forest. On the other hand, professionals from Runkle Prairie rejected such proposals. They didn't want the monster resources in their region to be taken by professionals from the dark forest. The angel army can be killed, but not professionals from other regions. This is indeed a problem that needs to be solved. After thinking seriously for a while, Lin Yu came up with an idea. He looked at Secretarian, who was standing by, and asked, Angelia, can we graft the teleportation arrays of those affiliated cities onto the space-time channel leading to the floating island in the other world? Angelia nodded, indicating that it was simple. That's good. Lin Yu immediately posted an announcement in the Kingdom chat channel. The Kingdom has now opened the space-time channel to the floating island with the code 018439. Starting from tomorrow, Kingdom professionals who have confidence in their own strength can use the teleportation arrays of the 4 affiliated cities to go to the floating island with the code 018439 for exploration and hunting. The monster resources on the otherworldly floating island are very abundant, but also full of danger. In addition, our kingdom is currently in a hostile conflict with professionals from the Sakura country and the Stick country on the floating island with the code 018439. Kingdom professionals who teleport there should be mentally prepared for battle. Kingdom professionals who believe in peace above all should not go. No surprises. As soon as Lin Yu's announcement was released, the entire kingdom's chat channel erupted. It was like a heavy nuclear bomb hitting the ocean, causing a tsunami of enormous waves. All the kingdom's professionals were shocked by Lin Yu's announcement because they never expected that Lin Yu had already opened a space-time channel to the floating island in the other world. It was simply a miracle. Those top professionals from the Dark Forest originally only requested Lin Yu to open a teleportation channel to Runkle Prairie, but Lin Yu directly gave them a royal flush. Want to level up quickly? Then go to the floating island in the other world and explore. There are plenty of monster resources there. As long as your strength is sufficient, there is no need to worry about not being able to level up. Of course, this is not the important part. Praise His Majesty the King. Indeed, Lin Yu is amazing. This move is invincible. I can't wait to go to that floating island world, but not to level up, but to spar with those professionals from the Sakura country who are living a good life. If my grandfather knew, he might crawl out of his grave and pat my head, telling me to work hard. Those professionals from the Sakura country and the Korean country actually dare to go to war with our Paradise Kingdom. They're asking for it. Brothers, polish your weapons and equipment. After the space-time channel opens tomorrow, let's go and kill them. Just the thought of facing professionals from the Sakura country makes my blood boil. New grudges and old hatred. Let's settle this war together. Brothers and sisters of the kingdom, stay calm. After all, this is a national war and exploring a different world. Those with low levels should not go first, so as not to give away free kills to those professionals. Hey, I don't like what you just said. That's right. So what if our levels are low? Even if we die on the battlefield, I'll bite them a couple of times, even as an undead. Brother upstairs, then stick with me tomorrow. I'm an undead mage. Once you die, I'll turn you into a skeleton undead and let you continue fighting. Wait, this isn't fair. Why can only the affiliated cities of the Dark Forest go through the space-time channel to the floating island? Aren't we professionals from Runkle Prairie also citizens of the kingdom? Emergency call to His Majesty Lin Yu. We, the thousands of professionals from Runkle Prairie, apply to join the battle. Agree plus 10,086. You all wait for now. The local forces in Runkle Prairie haven't been completely eradicated yet. When the war is almost over, I believe that His Majesty Lin Yu will build an affiliated city on your grassland and open a space-time channel. Brothers and sisters, anyone from the North City group? Count me in. I'm the Black Bear Knight, level 8, early stage. Sure, let's gather near the teleportation array in the center of the North City. Let's get the expeditionary army ready first, and when the space-time channel opens tomorrow, we can directly teleport over. Received, received. In a moment, the kingdom's chat channel quickly filled with numerous legions and team organizations. The Otherworldly Wilderness Expedition, engaging in national warfare with foreign professionals from Sakura Country, Korea, and other countries. These two factors ignited the passion of millions of professionals in the kingdom. Although the professionals in Runkle Prairie temporarily couldn't go to Floating Island 018439, it didn't stop them from getting excited together. According to incomplete statistics, within a short period of time, over 3,000 expeditionary teams were established, and the number of kingdom professionals joining these expeditionary teams exceeded 1 million. It is believed that by tomorrow morning, the scale of the expeditionary professional army will become even larger. Not only combat professionals, overlords located in the Dark Forest also joined in. Shortly after Lin Yu's kingdom announcement was released, the kingdom's overlords led their own troops and rushed to the nearby affiliated city. Xia Qingyue also set off. She rode on the back of a king-level frost dragon, leading a frost dragon legion consisting of over 10,000 frost dragons. She flew towards the nearest east city from her territory. As soon as she entered the east city, her appearance caused the professionals in the east city to cheer wildly. Xia Qingyue is recognized as the goddess of the island. Not only is she naturally beautiful, but she is also an apex-level overlord with the frost dragon species. In addition, the alliance she established, Midsummer Night, is the #1 alliance among professionals. Her reputation among professionals is very high. Now, seeing Xia Qingyue leading the Frost Dragon Legion to come and participate in the expeditionary campaign in the Otherworld, just like them, they naturally became extremely excited. Following Xia Qingyue, many overlords led their own troops and entered the 4 major affiliated cities. There were Dwarf Musketeer Legions, Forest Troll Legions, Bright Knight Legions, Golden Griffin Legions, Goblin Legions, Headless Knight Legions, and so on and so forth. All kinds of troops, it was truly diverse. With the arrival of these overlords, the atmosphere of the otherworldly expeditionary army instantly reached its peak. Island Chat Channel also became lively. Here, all the professionals of Floating Island gather, with a total number of tens of millions. When the professionals of Paradise Kingdom forwarded the kingdom announcement posted by Lin Yu to the Island Chat Channel, it instantly caused an even bigger wave. All the professionals were shocked by Lin Yu's grand gesture. After all, they haven't even figured out their own regions yet. On the other hand, Lin Yu had already opened up a temporal passage to the floating island in another world. This made them feel incredulous. However, when they learned that there were foreign professionals from countries like Sakura and Korea on the floating island in that other world, and that they were in a hostile war with Paradise Kingdom, all their incredulity and shock disappeared. All that was left was excitement and anticipation. They had been waiting for this moment for who knows how many years. Just as a professional from a kingdom said, this national war is a settling of old scores and new grudges. They didn't care about the relationship status of the various countries in the Blue Star world. This is the floating island. It is a transcendent world where the strong are respected. In a world where even eternal gods can appear, how could these professionals be restricted by the laws of the Blue Star? Let's not talk about anything else. If there's a grudge, settle it. If there's a grievance, avenge it. Just do it. Island Chat Channel. First, I want to say to the professionals of Dark Forest, you are now the vanguard of the national war. Go and fight against the professionals of Sakura. If you retreat on the battlefield, you will disgrace our ancestors. Exactly. If you're afraid of death, don't go. Leave the opportunity to us. I'm waiting for Lin Yu's angel army to come and establish a subsidiary city and a temporal passage in my region. Just thinking about those carefree days, my 40-meter-long sword in my hand is already itching. My location is in bountiful Great Lands. I don't know when Lin Yu's angel army will come to kill. It should be soon. Once Runkle Prairie is completely wiped out, Paradise Kingdom's next target will probably be bountiful Great Lands. But speaking of which, the native human kingdoms and bountiful Great Lands are currently at war with each other. Once Lin Yu's angel army enters, it will be a fight between two evils, and the fishermen will benefit. If nothing unexpected happens, Paradise Kingdom will easily take down bountiful Great Lands. What fisherman benefits? I suspect that the Bright Church of Bountiful Great Lands has already surrendered to Lin Yu. Otherwise, why would they start a war at this time? Some professionals have analyzed this before, but it hasn't been confirmed yet. But now it's almost certain. It's normal for the Bright Church to surrender. After all, Lin Yu's exclusive troops are angels, and angels are gods in the Bright Camp. The native followers of the Bright Church also regard angels as holy spirits. Even if you give the Bright Church 100 guts, they wouldn't dare to oppose the angels. It goes against their religious doctrine. In this case, the only opponents left for Lin Yu are the natural elf empire and the dragon race of the 36 Bay Islands. Once these two races are dealt with, Lin Yu will become the island lord. I don't care about these issues, I just want to know when I, who is in St. Cabell Snowfield, will have the opportunity to go to the floating island in another world and fight against those carefree days. I suggest you transfer to another region as soon as possible. That icy and snowy place. Even the undead don't like to go there. Lin Yu will definitely send the angel army to occupy it at the last moment. I've decided I'm going to Dark Forest. Even if I have to crawl, I will crawl to the temporal passage. The awakening of the hidden bloodline doesn't allow me to watch those carefree days on the floating island in another world. I don't know how many professionals from Sakura are on the floating island in another world. Who cares? We'll fight as many as there are. Based on my speculation, Lin Yu not only sent the angel army, but also mobilized the apex-level troops of Paradise Kingdom. If we go late, we might not even get a sip of soup. Upon seeing this information, many professionals became anxious. They were well aware of the war strength of the angel army and the apex-level troops of Paradise Kingdom. If they arrived late, they might lose everything. The professionals in Dark Forest were still fine, as they were close to the water's edge and could set out for the other world tomorrow. But professionals from other regions could only wait anxiously for now. This led to professionals from various regions frantically mentioning Lin Yu, especially those top professionals who wanted Lin Yu to quickly conquer their regions and establish temporal passages. At this moment, countless professionals were in a restless state. The bloodline of revenge had awakened. No one wanted to miss this special national war. After all, opportunities to bring honor to their ancestors and make their family graves smoke are rare. Lin Yu also saw the information in the Island Chat channel. But when it comes to the petition of the professionals in various regions, he can only express his inability to help. After all, his reach is not that long. Just like the two major regions, Sacred Land of Elves and 36 Bay Islands, his angel army has not yet reached there. So how can he establish affiliated cities and create spatial channels? Therefore, professionals from other regions can only wait for now. On the other hand, Lin Yu gave the professionals in Runkle Prairie the opportunity to go to the floating island in the other world. When he opened 2 god-level stronghold treasure chests before, he obtained 2 blueprints for affiliated cities. He summoned a high-ranking archangel. He sent her to Runkle Prairie to build the affiliated cities. The 2 affiliated cities were named Grassland City 1 and Grassland City 2. Simple, popular, and easy to remember. When Angelia goes to graph the spatial channels onto the 4 affiliated cities in the Dark Forest, she will also graph the teleportation arrays of these 2 grassland cities at the same time. Tomorrow morning, professionals from the two major regions can go to the floating island in the other world. In addition, Lin Yu also sent the news of the city construction to the Kingdom chat channel, which, as expected, caused a sensation and excited the millions of professionals in the grassland. At the same time, Lin Yu once again warned the professionals in the kingdom. Do not act impulsively. After all, besides the comfortable life and small sticks they long for, the floating island in the other world also has a large number of wild monsters. One careless move and they could die there. However, this does not seem to dampen the enthusiasm of the professionals in the kingdom. On the contrary, there are more and more professionals forming expeditionary legions and expeditionary teams. Conservatively estimating, when the spatial channels open tomorrow, the number of professionals from the kingdom going to the floating island in the other world is likely to exceed 5 million. That's the allure of a comfortable life. Finally, Lin Yu decided not to worry about it anymore. He has already dispatched the Angel Army and the kingdom's apex-level troops to eliminate the threats, and there are 5 City of Angels guarding them. As long as the professionals in the kingdom closely follow the pace of the army's extermination, they will definitely not be slaughtered by the powerful beings from the other world. On the battlefield of national warfare, they can also follow behind the kingdom's army. Overall, as long as the professionals in the kingdom are a little careful and do not stray from the range of the army's extermination, their safety is guaranteed. So Lin Yu no longer wastes words. Anyway, they won't listen to advice. Those guys have gone crazy. They are shouting in the kingdom channel as if they were injected with chicken blood. If Lin Yu doesn't give them direct orders, there's no way to persuade them. But then again, Lin Yu himself also has a similar impulse. However, he plans to go there after the national war truly begins. Because going there now has no meaning. And he has even more important things to do. We'll deal with the matter of grafting the space-time channel later, Lin Yu said to his elegant and beautiful secretary, and we're going to the underworld. Victoria has sent word that the fallen angel army has already arrived in the gold mine area. As you wish. Angelia bowed respectfully. Immediately, the two of them entered the central teleportation array of Sacred City together. The next moment, they found themselves in the dark, damp underworld, filled with the stench of decay. The underworld is not suitable for living beings, because the environmental conditions here are too poor, especially the crimson lava rivers, which can be seen everywhere. The air is also filled with a pungent smell of sulfur. Ordinary people would be poisoned in a short time after arriving here. Even professionals can endure it, but they would still feel uncomfortable. Only those evil races accustomed to the underworld environment would not be affected. But overall, compared to the underworld, the surface world is like heaven. Even in the rarely visited St. Cabal snowfield, the living conditions are much better than in the underworld. Lin Yu also planned to conquer the underworld and relocate all the subjugated underworld races, such as the Dark Elf clan, to the surface, allowing them to bask in the sunlight again. As soon as he arrived, Lin Yu saw a dense crowd of fallen angels and a large number of massive Cerberus. The location he teleported to was the gathering place of the fallen angel army. The gold mine is located tens of thousands of meters away. Although it is far away, Lin Yu can clearly see the gold mine, just because of its immense scale. It is 500 meters tall, shaped like a huge conical lid, with a diameter of several thousand meters, emitting dazzling golden light. At the same time, there is an energy shield surrounding the gold mine. Strange flowing lights can be faintly seen on the surface of the shield. It looks very mysterious. Oh, great creator! A group of massive and beautiful figures flew over. Leading them are Victoria and several 12-winged fallen angels, followed by a large number of high-ranking fallen angels who have advanced to the 10-winged level, such as fallen angel Gladys, and Sylvia is among them as well. Lin Yu asked, "What's the situation now?" Victoria stepped forward and respectfully saluted, reporting to my lord. Ancient Great Elf Doris is currently trying to persuade the Dark Elf Queen and others to surrender. If the persuasion fails, then the war will immediately begin. Near the gold mine, within a kilometer, there are at least 100,000 powerful beings from the underground world. The lowest level is transcendent. There are about 20 to 30,000 saint rank experts. They mainly come from the Dark Elf Empire, Cyclops Giant Empire, Evil Eye Empire, and the Eternal Kingdom, which are the 4 transcendent level forces. A few come from other forces and races. If Lin Yu's fallen angel army didn't intervene, the 4 transcendent level forces would definitely use this gold mine to devour other forces and races. By then, the entire underground world would be completely divided by the 4 transcendent level forces. Unfortunately, there are no ifs. The fallen angel army has already arrived. This also means that their plan will not succeed. Under countless hostile gazes, several powerful elven leaders, led by ancient great elf Doris, appeared in the area where the Dark Elf Empire's powerful beings were stationed and met with the high and mighty Dark Elf Queen. Respected Queen, it is an honor for Doris to see you in person. Facing the Dark Elf Queen, ancient great elf Doris held great respect. The other elven leaders behind her felt the same way. After all, they also belonged to the Dark Elf race. Before Lin Yu appeared, they had always been loyal to the Dark Elf Queen as members of the Dark Elf tribes. It was the holy light that changed their beliefs and allegiance. You are Chief Doris? The Dark Elf Queen sat on a luxurious throne. She wore a black and gold thin silk gown, with the split skirt revealing 2 snow-white long legs crossed together, her seductive body slightly leaning forward, appearing exceptionally sexy and charming. Her pupils were dark purple, giving the illusion of demonic eyes. A strong astonishment appeared on her exquisitely beautiful face. She looked at Doris and the pair of butterfly-like flowing light wings behind her with disbelief. The Dark Elf Queen did not forget Doris. She always remembered that one of their tribes in the Empire was destroyed by an unknown force, and the true culprit has not been found to this day, and Doris was the chief of that Dark Elf tribe. Almost all the high-level members of the Dark Elf Empire believed that Doris and her tribe had already died, including the Dark Elf Queen. However, now she actually saw Doris alive and well in front of her, with a pair of legendary law wings belonging to the ancient Great Elf behind her. Furthermore, the characteristics belonging to the Dark Elf clan have disappeared from Doris. Her red eyes have turned into a sparkling green. The 2 pairs of vampire-like fangs have also disappeared. Even the aura emanating from her body no longer belongs to the evil and dark camp. Based on appearance alone, it is impossible to connect the current Doris with the Dark Elf clan chief. The Dark Elf Queen herself cannot be certain, and her expression is filled with confusion and surprise. Yes, Your Majesty, the respected Queen, ancient Great Elf Doris said. I used to be a clan chief of the Dark Elf tribe, but now I have embraced the Holy Light and become a follower of the Lord of Holy Light. Under the protection of the Great Lord of Holy Light, I have achieved bloodline evolution and ascended to become an ancient Great Elf. Now I have even reached the realm of demigod late stage. The elves of my tribe are also living well in the territory of the Lord of Holy Light. The majority of them have already ascended to the transcendent level, with over 20 individuals reaching the rank of saint. Hearing this, the Dark Elf Queen and the nearby high-ranking Dark Elf officials and powerful individuals all showed astonishment. If what Doris said is true, then the power of the Lord of Holy Light is too terrifying. After all, in Doris's tribe, there were only 2 king-level professionals, let alone transcendent or saint rank. To see the tribe's elves grow to such an extent in such a short period of time, they found it hard to believe. However, when they sensed the demigod aura emanating from Doris and saw that the few elves behind her were also demigod and saint rank, they had no choice but to believe. At the same time, they also became extremely curious about the Lord of Holy Light mentioned by Doris. The floating island is a world without deities. But this Lord of Holy Light not only helped Doris ascend to become an ancient great elf, but also allowed the tribe's elves to achieve a leap in their ranks. Could it be that he has truly manifested miracles? At this moment, the Dark Elf Queen suddenly glanced at the fallen angel army gathered tens of thousands of meters away. Then she sneered and said, "Even if that Lord of Holy Light is truly a god, I'm afraid he is an evil god." The reason the Dark Elf Queen said this is because she saw that Doris and the few elves were all from the evil winged human army. If the Lord of Holy Light is not an evil god, how could he have so many evil followers? Even the Dark Elf Queen herself had to admit that the evil aura emanating from those winged humans made her, a peak demigod, feel fear. Compared to the level of evil of those winged humans, their dark elves, cyclops giants, evil-eyed demons, undead creatures, and even the Spider-Face clan are all insignificant and of a much lower level. Upon hearing the words of the Dark Elf Queen, in the expression of ancient great elf Doris, anger immediately appeared. If it weren't for the fact that she came with a mission and also had to redeem the countless number of dark elves, she would definitely fight with the Dark Elf Queen who blasphemed the Lord of Holy Light. Doris took a deep breath. She struggled to suppress the impulse deep in her heart to directly purify this heretical queen. She said, "The great Lord of Holy Light is selfless and compassionate, showing mercy to all creatures in the world. Otherwise, as a former dark elf, I would not have been able to embrace the holy light. And, Your Majesty the Queen, they are not winged creatures, they are fallen angels from the angelic race. The fallen angel army, following the divine oracle of the Lord of Holy Light, spreads the faith of the holy light to the underworld and redeems the dark creatures here. In the surface world, our Lord's sacred city, there are millions of sacred angels. In no time, the whole world will be enveloped in the radiance of our Lord." Doris's gaze swept over the high-ranking and powerful dark elves present, and finally fell on the beautiful face of the Dark Elf Queen, filled with horror. "Your Majesty the Queen, the empire of the Spider-Face spiders has already been annihilated by the fallen angel army of our Lord. If it weren't for the mercy of our Lord, giving our dark elf race the opportunity for self-redemption, the moment the fallen angel army descended, they would have already launched an attack on your dark elf army." At this moment, the main force of the Dark Elf Empire was stationed in the southeast direction of the gold mine, with a total size of over 2 million. Their original mission was to fight against the army of the Spider-Face Spider Empire and compete for the gold mine. As a result, the Spider-Face Spider Empire was no more. The Dark Elf Queen said coldly, "Our Dark Elf race can establish a foothold in the underworld and rule a vast area, not by chance. Even in the face of the angelic race, my Dark Elf Empire dares to fight against them. Doris, you and your tribe of elves have become traitors to my Dark Elf race. Now, you even want to seduce my Dark Elf race into embracing the so-called holy light, which is unforgivable. Once the war starts, the first person I will kill is you. Your Majesty the Queen, please calm down." In the face of the Dark Elf Queen's rebuke and murderous intent, ancient great elf Doris remained calm and said, "Since the end of the ancient divine war, our dark elf race has lost the protection of the gods. Even more so, we have been abandoned by the goddess of darkness. After experiencing a very cruel and bloody period, our tribe has finally established a foothold in the underworld and can thrive. But this does not mean that we do not need faith. A race without faith, even if it can be passed down, will not prosper. The Dark Elf clan may forever remain in the underground world, never seeing the sun on the surface. Now, I bring the holy light to our tribe. The great Lord of Holy Light did not reject us like other true gods, but instead chose to become the protector deity of our Dark Elf clan. Your Majesty, this is the opportunity for our tribe to rise." The Dark Elf Queen, with a slightly moved expression, Doris changed her tone and said, "His fallen angel army only took a few hours to annihilate the empire of Spider-Face spiders. Your Majesty, compared to those Spider-Face spiders, how much stronger are we, the Dark Elf clan? Are you threatening me?" The Dark Elf Queen's dark purple eyes narrowed slightly. Doris shook her head and said, "This is not a threat. I am just stating a fact to Your Majesty. The dark forest on the surface has already been conquered by his angelic army. The mountain giant clan, the Naga clan, and the natural elves of the Elf Garden have all become his followers. I just received news. The Beast Tribe Court ruling over Runkle Prairie has also been destroyed under the attack of the angelic army. The Radiant Church in the Fertile Land has long declared war on the kingdom of Kilias and the dragon race under the guidance of the Holy Light. Respected Your Majesty." Doris looked up at the Dark Elf Queen, whose expression had become extremely serious, and said, "Surrender is not a shame, but the most correct choice you can make. You don't want to see the Dark Elf Empire turn into ruins under the sweeping of the angelic army, do you? If that's the case, you will become the great sinner of our Dark Elf clan." The Dark Elf Queen was shocked and angry, feeling a slight pain in her chest. No one had ever dared to speak to her like this before. A beautiful-looking high-ranking Dark Elf angrily said, "Doris, you are being insolent." Doris ignored her and said, "I once had a dream, to become the new queen of the Dark Elf clan. Although I am no longer interested now, I believe that once the war begins, this dream will come true. It all depends on how your majesty chooses. In other words, if war breaks out, the Dark Elf Queen is highly likely to die on the battlefield. And she, Doris, will ascend to the throne of the queen. As for the queen's throne, Doris is indeed not interested in it right now. Her favorite thing to do is to serve the Lord of Holy Light. Everything that needed to be said has been said." Ancient Great Elf Doris did not continue to waste words. Next, it will depend on how the Dark Elf Queen and the high-ranking elves make their decision. If they still refuse to surrender, then the fallen angel army will have to conquer the Dark Elf Empire through war. War will inevitably result in casualties. Engaging in battle with the fallen angel army will undoubtedly lead to many Dark Elf sacrifices on the battlefield. However, in many cases, war is the most effective and direct way of conquest. Your Majesty, after ancient Great Elf Doris left with a few tribal elves, the high-ranking Dark Elves present all turned their gaze towards the Dark Elf Queen sitting on the throne. It was clear to see that their expressions were filled with seriousness. Some even showed fear. The angel race is a legendary mythical race. Now they have not only descended into this world, but also intend to conquer the underground world that belongs to their evil race. This has caused them great terror. To put it bluntly, they would rather go to war with all the races on the surface world than be seen as the target of attack or conquest by the angel race. That would mean extinction. The Spider Empire is a lesson from the past. However, on such an important issue, they cannot provide any reference or advice. Because whether it is bowing down to the angel army or resisting the angel army's attack as a whole, it seems to be the wrong decision. Therefore, they can only look to the Dark Elf Queen. As the ruler of the Dark Elf race, the Dark Elf Queen has the obligation and the right to decide the future of their race. No matter what decision the Dark Elf Queen makes, they will express their obedience. However, the Dark Elf Queen chose to remain silent. When she saw these high-ranking individuals and powerful beings unable to offer any opinions, she knew that their beliefs had been shaken. They feared the angel race. They dared not engage in battle with them. If it were any other race, even if it was the Nature Elf Empire from the surface world, these high-ranking individuals and powerful beings would definitely be very radical and urge her to go to war, instead of leaving the decision in her hands like they are now. Of course, she could understand this, because even she herself was hesitating. Millions of meters away, the 2 million-strong fallen angel army was watching closely. On the surface world, there were millions of holy angel armies attacking and sweeping across the land. Even if their Dark Elf Empire could repel this fallen angel army, what could they use to resist the millions of holy angel armies on the surface? If you choose to refuse to bow down to the holy light, the Dark Elf Empire is likely to become the next spider-faced empire. But if she surrenders directly, she feels a bit unwilling. After all, she is the ruler of an empire. How can she abandon her dignity just because of a few words from the enemy envoy? The Dark Elf Queen rubbed her forehead, feeling a headache, and found it difficult to decide. Just at this moment, a sudden battle erupted in the sky 10,000 meters away. The powerful force of the laws swept everything around. Even the ground below was leveled, and red magma erupted, creating a shocking scene. Damn it! Seeing this scene, the Dark Elf Queen immediately stood up from her throne. Her gaze fell upon ancient Great Elf Doris and the others who were preparing to return to the fallen angel army camp after leaving. They were being besieged by more than a dozen demigod powerhouses from the other three forces. Those demigods came from the other three powers. There were Cyclops giants, evil eye demons, and undead creatures. When more than a dozen demigod powerhouses joined forces, their power was terrifying. In the blink of an eye, several tribal elves were killed, including elf elder Carol, who had already advanced to the demigod realm and was Doris's close friend. Only Doris was left struggling. This sudden battle shocked and angered the Dark Elf Queen. She never expected that Doris and the others would be ambushed. At the same time, she also understood the intentions of the Cyclops Giant Emperor, the Evil Demon Emperor, and the Ghost Dragon Emperor. They wanted to drag down their Dark Elf Empire. Why would they want to drag them down? Because the fallen angel army only sent envoys to persuade their Dark Elf Empire to surrender. But these three powers did not receive such treatment. This meant that the fallen angel army had no intention of letting them go and would exterminate their races just like they did with the spider-faced empire. In this situation, how could they watch the Dark Elf Empire surrender? The rulers of the three powers attempted to make the fallen angel army hate the Dark Elf Empire by ambushing Doris and the others. 4 against 1 is better than 3 against 2. They are forcing me. The Dark Elf Queen was furious and immediately ordered, "Demigod powerhouses, join me in the battle." A Dark Elf demigod quickly asked, "Your Majesty, which side should we help?" The seductive figure of the Dark Elf Queen rushed into the sky without looking back and said, "Of course, we will help Doris. Even if she has evolved into an ancient great elf, she is still our Dark Elf ancient great elf. Your Majesty is wise." The Dark Elf demigods quickly followed the Queen. Each of them understood the situation. Truly worthy of being Her Majesty, she has solved this dilemma. Kill. The Dark Elf Queen personally takes action. Bringing with her the power of 3 different elemental laws, she descends upon the battlefield. Among them, the power of the Dark Law is the strongest, enveloping the entire battlefield in a pitch-black world, even shielding the detection of spiritual consciousness. Terrifying power sweeps through. Several demigods from 3 different factions are directly swept away. They all spit out blood. Even a mid-level one-eyed giant demigod was directly killed by the Dark Elf Queen. Her speed was so fast that no one could react. At the same time, the powerful demigods of the Dark Elf Empire also joined the battle, protecting ancient Great Elf Doris as they retreat and fighting against the attacks from the demigods of the 3 factions. With the Dark Elf Queen leading the way, more than 20 demigods from the 3 factions are unable to do anything against them. The reason is simple. The Dark Elf Queen is a peak demigod. Her strength is so great that she once defeated the One-Eyed Giant Emperor who ruled over the One-Eyed Giant clan. Furthermore, because they are worried about being surrounded by the peak demigod powerhouses in the fallen angel army, the rulers of the 3 factions only dispatched their own demigods to intercept. Peak demigods like the One-Eyed Giant Emperor, the Evil-Eyed Demon Emperor, and the Ghost Dragon Emperor did not take action. The other demigods are naturally no match for the Dark Elf Queen. Even though their numbers are large, they temporarily have no way to repel the Dark Elf Queen. They can only watch as the ancient Great Elf is rescued by a group of powerful Dark Elf warriors. Natia, accompanied by a roar. A massive figure suddenly descends. It is the One-Eyed Giant Emperor. He stares at the Dark Elf Queen with a gloomy expression and says, "What do you mean by this? Just because of a few words from that ancient Great Elf, are you willing to abandon the dignity of being a ruler and surrender to those surface creatures?" Let's not talk about surrendering. Doris is a member of my Dark Elf clan. Even if she has awakened her bloodline, she is still the ancient Great Elf of my Dark Elf clan. I cannot watch her die at your hands. While responding, the Dark Elf Queen Natia retreats towards the fallen angel army. Because behind the One-Eyed Giant Emperor, the Evil-Eyed Demon Emperor, and the Ghost Dragon Emperor are closing in on her. She is not afraid to fight one-on-one against the One-Eyed Giant Emperor. But when the 3 peak demigod rulers join forces, she is no match for them. She is not a fool. Seeing the situation is unfavorable, she naturally has to leave. The One-Eyed Giant Emperor coldly says, "Stop looking for excuses for your cowardice. I can clearly tell you that you will eventually regret your choice today." In the ancient battle between the holy demons, your Dark Elf clan fought fiercely on the battlefield, but in the end, you were despised by the gods. Even the goddess of darkness has rejected your faith. You are lowly gods forsaken by us. The followers of the Holy Light are clearly deceiving you. That so-called Lord of Holy Light can never become the god of faith for your Dark Elf clan. His radiance will not shine upon a group of forsaken gods. We are your Dark Elf clan's companions. The last sentence comes from the Ghost Dragon Emperor who rules over the Eternal Kingdom. It is an undead creature. It is the mortal enemy of the Holy and Light factions. Even if other evil races in the underground world have surrendered, the Eternal Kingdom led by it cannot surrender. Because of this, it naturally wants to persuade the Dark Elf Queen, who has already been deceived, to come back. There's no need to say anything. Dark Elf Queen Natia's attitude is resolute as she says, since such a decision has been made, no matter what the future holds, my Dark Elf clan can only choose to accept it. At this time, the most taboo thing is to be wishy-washy. Otherwise, neither side will benefit. Ancient Great Elf Doris' words indeed frightened her. If it is true, as Doris said, that there is a holy angel army of millions in the surface world, then this world will definitely be conquered by the angel race. Even if all races are combined, they cannot withstand the attack of the angel army. In this situation, she can only choose to bow her head to the Holy Light. Even if that Lord of Holy Light is really just using their Dark Elf clan, or even discarding them after using them, she must make this choice. Better to risk one's life than to die without hope. After all, she is not alone. She represents the millions of Dark Elves in the entire Dark Elf clan. She can die, but the clan cannot be destroyed. She does not want her clan to suffer the same fate as the Empire of the Arachnid. Just at this moment, an invisible and terrifying force suddenly sweeps through. There is no magical fluctuation, but it makes the Dark Elf Queen feel a chill. She even finds that her body cannot move. Including the Dark Elf demigods protecting Doris' retreat, they also freeze in midair. Their seductive and sexy bodies become stiff, unable to even speak. This is a soul attack. In the entire underground world, only one person possesses such a powerful soul power. The gaze of the Dark Elf Queen instantly locks onto the evil-eye demon emperor, who resembles a supersized meatball. The evil-eye clan inherits the bloodline of the void demon. Their most proficient field is the soul. Whether it is soul attacks, soul defenses, or soul imprisonment, the evil-eye clan has a high level of accomplishment in all of them. This is their racial talent. There are rumors about the evil-eye clan in the surface world. It is said that the eyes of the evil-eye clan can release a terrifying aurora, and any creature enveloped by the aurora will be controlled by the evil-eye clan. The best way to kill the evil-eye demons is to destroy their eyes as soon as possible, especially the giant main eye attached to their flesh. But in fact, this statement is incorrect. The eyes of the evil-eye clan do not release any aurora at all. Destroying their eyes can only severely damage them. The soul attacks of the evil-eye clan have nothing to do with their eyes. Even if all the eyes attached to their tentacles are shattered, those who are supposed to be controlled will still be controlled. At this moment, the evil-eye demon emperor personally took action. With the unstoppable power of the soul laws, it directly imprisoned the Dark Elf Queen and other demigod-level elf powerhouses in the sky. This is its greatest effort. The evil-eye demon emperor actually wanted to annihilate the souls of the Dark Elf Queen and others. But it couldn't do it. Its power is not that strong. Otherwise, the evil-eye clan would have ruled the entire underground world long ago. I have imprisoned them. Kill them all now. The evil-eye demon emperor spoke urgently. At the same time, the souls of nearly 10 demigod-level powerhouses were imprisoned. Among them was the extremely powerful peak demigod, the Dark Elf Queen. The pressure on it was still great, and it couldn't imprison them for too long. The Dark Elf Queen would soon break free from its restraints and regain her freedom. There was no need for the evil-eye demon emperor to remind. In the instant they discovered that the Dark Elf Queen and others were imprisoned, the Cyclops Giant Emperor and the Ghost Dragon Emperor acted in unison, directly using the power of laws, attempting to kill with a single strike. The Dark Elf Queen was instantly filled with a chilling aura. Her whole being was shrouded in the fear of death. At this moment, being imprisoned, she couldn't possibly withstand the attacks of the two peak demigods. Once hit, she would be severely injured even if she didn't die. As for the demigods of the empire behind her, they were undoubtedly doomed. It should be noted that they were the strongest in the entire Dark Elf Empire. If they all died here, the Dark Elf Empire would not even have a single demigod left. Although the race would still exist, it would lose the protection of its powerhouses. This is very dangerous for a race and may lead to its decline. Thinking of this, the Dark Elf Queen, Natia, immediately regretted her impulsiveness and falling into the conspiracy of those three guys. At this moment, the Dark Elf Queen fully understood. The target of the Cyclops Giant Emperor, the evil-eyed Demon Emperor, and the Ghost Dragon Emperor was not only the ancient Great Elf, Doris, but also herself, the Dark Elf Queen. If she didn't interfere, it would be fine. If she dared to take action, those three guys would kill her without hesitation. This was something that had been discussed long ago. However, just as the Dark Elf Queen was on the brink of despair, a more terrifying force of the laws swept through, shaking the entire battlefield space. Like crumbling decay, it directly annihilated the forces of the One-Eyed Giant Emperor and the Ghost Dragon Emperor, effortlessly saving the Dark Elf Queen from the edge of death. How is this possible? The One-Eyed Giant Emperor was instantly shocked and horrified. The terrifying power of this force completely exceeded his imagination. Even he felt a sense of insignificance. But at the same time, the One-Eyed Giant Emperor was extremely unwilling and attempted to join forces with the Ghost Dragon Emperor once again to kill the Dark Elf Queen. However, he no longer had the opportunity. When that terrifying force swept over, the soul techniques that imprisoned the Dark Elf Queen and others were forcibly broken. The Dark Elf Queen and the others immediately retreated to the vicinity of the fallen angel army. Retreat. Opportunity waits for no one, and it won't come again. The One-Eyed Giant Emperor and the others also decisively retreated. They dared not stay in place, fearing being surrounded and attacked. They had already discovered earlier that there were at least 5 peak demigods in the fallen angel camp, and each one was a legendary 12-winged angel. If they all made a move, they would definitely lose a significant number of people. In fact, they all knew that they couldn't contend against the angel race. Surrendering was the best choice. But the key problem was that the angel race didn't give them a chance. They only sent envoys to persuade the Dark Elf race to surrender, and they were abandoned. It was clear that they wanted to eliminate them all. In this situation, they could only choose to make a desperate move. In the end, not only did they fail to drag down the Dark Elf Queen, nor did they kill her, they only managed to kill a few insignificant tribal elves. The plan was a complete failure. Retreat, go back and mobilize the army, and have a decisive battle with the angel race. That's what I want. After a brief exchange, the rulers of the 3 evil forces prepared to lead their powerful subordinates to withdraw from the gold mine area. Currently, only the strong in their forces had gathered here. The Empire's army was still at the main camp. They needed to go back and mobilize troops, joining forces to resist the angel race. However, their retreat was just wishful thinking. Since they had come, how could Victoria, the leader of the fallen angels, let them leave as they pleased? Only to see figures appearing in the battlefield like transmigrating space, instantly descending. It was the 5 12-winged fallen angels, including Victoria and Priscilla. They appeared from different directions, surrounding the One-Eyed Giant Emperor and the others in a tight circle.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe.